Greetings and welcome to Hexed Encountered. I'm Joe. It is time for Solitaire Sunday, and it is our second scenario in the game Carrier Battle Group Solitaire Deluxe Edition from Decision Games. I've done 3 videos before this one. We had a first look, a gameplay setup, which showed how you set up a scenario, and then a playthrough of that scenario, which was very short-lived because I got my butt kicked. My carrier took some heavy damage and we ended up losing. So this time we're going to give it another shot. So I've set everything up already. This is a different mission. This is the amphibious warfare scenario. You draw a random chit. I drew this one. And so that is what we are playing. Okay, I had to make a quick adjustment to the lighting there. We have a lone stray die sitting on the board here. All right, so in this one, actually, the action is going to be down along this orange track here, running from the UK to the Baltic. So we will be carrying some Marines. And this is their marker right here. We'll be carrying these guys, or escorting them, let's say, over here so that they can land in Estonia. And yeah, so that is what we're going to be doing. We do have a Soviet alert level of 4. A lot of this stuff is determined via die roll and mission setup parameters. If you're interested in how all that works, of course, there is the setup video, which is for another scenario, but the mechanics are identical. So we did end up with, because of our alert level, we ended up with all 3 Soviet battle groups. That's the most that you can get. So we have 3 of them. We don't know their composition. They're up here in the 3 boxes. And I had 24 logistic points that I could use to purchase what I need for my my mission here. So that's laid out here. I ended up drawing an escort of, I rolled a 6, so I actually did pretty well. It gave me a cruiser, 3 destroyers, 2 frigates, and a submarine. So I was pretty psyched about having the sub because I did not get a submarine in the first playthrough. And actually, you only get a sub if you roll a 1 or a 6. So I did roll a 6, which gave me my sub, which was nice. I purchased 6 cruise missiles. So we have a slightly lighter complement of aircraft on our carrier this time. And we'll talk about that when we get into launching them and so on and so forth. So the first thing we will need to do is determine what we want to do in the intelligence phase. Here's our sequence of play. You can see right at the top is the intelligence phase. We can attempt 1 intelligence action per rule 11. This will possibly allow you to examine enemy forces or change the Soviet alert level. Okay, so our alert level is 4. When you do this, you do run the risk of actually escalating their level. So here is our intelligence table. So you have an intelligence value that you get from whatever ship you're choosing to use. And then you can see kind of the results here. And you can also see that there is the signals intercepted. So you roll low, you end up with signals intercepted, which raises the Soviet alert level. Now, you can also have deception, which you get here. It's the D. There's only a couple ways you get it, but that would reduce Soviet alert level by 2 levels, or you can add a turn to the scenario. So we want to find our ship that has the highest intelligence rating, and I believe that is our, what is it? I think it's one of the cruisers. Yes, so we will use our Aegis cruiser here, which has an intelligence factor of 5 in the lower left corner there. Or that's actually its EW rating, which is what you use for this. So it's an electronic warfare rating. And then you add the values of our CIC on the Nimitz, which is 4. And let's see. Yeah, you have to use the table here. So down here we have the EW value of the ship. So that is 5. Then we do not have an EW crew on the carrier. I didn't purchase that. So if this carrier CIC value is 3 or 4, it's 4. We get a +1. So that makes our value a 6. If we got a slightly higher CIC value, we could actually make it a 7. But so we're in this column, the 5, 6 column, and we're going to roll one die and see what we get. We do not want to roll a 1. So we want to roll something other than a 1. I'm going to just roll it on the board. And it rolled all the way off the board, but it's a 4. So we rolled a 4, and a 4 on our table is IB, Intelligence Breakthrough. Select 2 spaces containing Soviet units and reveal them. We're going to reveal 1 and 3. So I'm going to flip over 1 here, and we have, let's see, we have a guided missile destroyer. We have a regular destroyer, and we have a guided missile submarine. And then in Battle Group 3, which also has 3 units, Battle Group 2 has 4. That's the one we're not revealing. We've got a submarine, SSN, so no guided missile capability. Then we have a second submarine of the SSN variety. And third, we have a frigate, guided missile frigate. So luckily for us, those are not really, really powerful units. So that's nice. That is nice to have there. All right, now, so we've revealed those. That's our intelligence phase. The next phase in our sequence of play is the logistics phase, which we'll skip. Now, I don't have any logistics points. You could carry some with you, and that would allow you to do things like repair or get restocked on ammunition and so on and so forth. But it costs you your movement for that turn if you do that. So third, we come to the movement phase. So we can move our carrier battle group a number of spaces up to the battle group's movement allowance. Nuclear-powered ships may always move up to their maximum speed. If the CV battle group expends 1 fuel point, then all its non-nuclear ships may move up to their maximum speed. Otherwise, they're limited. So our fuel track here has 8 fuel, so it's down here in the corner. And we have several ships that are not nuclear. In fact, the only nuclear ship I think we've got aside from the Nimitz itself is our submarine. And our max speed, the speed is denoted by the arrow in the bottom right here. So this is our sub. You can see it's got a movement speed of 5. It's right there. So the lowest speed we've got is a 4, which allows us to move 4 spaces at maximum speed. We will expend 1 fuel, and we will move 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Puts us right here, but near Denmark. We are now 1, 2, 3, 4 away from the first Soviet battle group. Now, after we do that, we draw the incident chits from the pool. So the incident chits are in this cup, and we draw the number that is the same as the alert level, which is 4, which is why it's to your benefit to lower it by intelligence if you can. All right, so I've drawn 4, and we've got contact standoff weapon. So we have a standoff weapon coming in. That's going to be either an aircraft or a missile. We have ice flows. We have storm. And we have Soviet indecision. All right, so there is a table that shows what all of these are. It is on this one, this particular player aid. All right, so we've got contact standoff weapon. So that's this guy. Oh, standoff. Here we go. Roll 1d6 and draw that number of Soviet standoff units. If the space where the incident has occurred is farther from the nearest Soviet base than the range of any of these units, then return those units to the pool. So, okay. So we'll have to, our standoff weapons are out on the table in a assortment, just kind of out flat. They're not in a cup. They're flipped down, so I don't see what they are. So we roll a die first. So since it's a Soviet thing, I'm going to roll a red die. Oh boy, 5. Okay, so we're going to draw 5 standoff weapons. Okay, now we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spots away from their base. These are our standoff weapons. As you can see, we can only see the back until we reveal what they are. This one is an aircraft. It has a range of 5 on the lower right there. So it's going back in the pool. Then we've got another one here. This is another jet. It has a range of 4. So it also goes back in the pool. And we have another jet. This one has a range of 20. So we will have to fight that one. That's a bomber, apparently. And then this one this is a cruise missile with a range of 3. And another of those blue naval aircraft carrier. I guess it's on the light carrier, the Kiev. So that's a 4. That's also not going to be able to fight us. So we do have the bomber here. Probably a backfire, I'm thinking, maybe. Well, let's find out. I'm curious now. I want to know what it is. It is a Tu-126 Moss, is what it says. It's an AWACS. So I'm not sure what that does. Actually, that's not it. That is not it. Where is it? Oh, it is a backfire. I was right. So that's a backfire bomber. Swing wing medium bomber. Okay, so that's the old backfire. I was right. Whew, that's yeah. I was in the Air Force. You'd think I would know. But okay. So we have that, and we have to deal with that during the combat phase. So I'm going to actually put it over here in the outer zone for now. And that takes care of this one. Next up, we have ice flows. And we look at our chart. Ice flows here. If our battle group is on or north Greenland Sea, we're not. So we don't have to worry about that one. It goes away. Then we have a storm. And looking for storm. Storm is down here. You may not launch. Oh, man. Well, it's a good and a bad. So you may not launch standoff weapons for the remainder of this turn. Ignore any Soviet standoff attack markers. So that backfire is going to lose us in the storm. And we have no surface combat this turn. I was going to launch an attack on them because I revealed them, and we can reach them with our air assets. So we will put the storm back, and then we have Soviet indecision. So this actually didn't turn out to be all that bad. All right, 1, reduce the alert level by 1. All right, so it becomes a 3. That's nice. Then 2, choose one Soviet battle group at random, roll a d6, and move that SBG, that number of spaces, away from the Navy battle group per 13 Soviet ship movement if there are none in the... Okay, so we don't have to ignore because there were 3 of them. Okay, so we're going to have to choose one first. So we'll do 1 will be... Well, 2 is as far away as it can get. So if we roll that one, we're not going to do anything with it. So we'll say 1 and 2 is 1, 3 and 4 is 2, and 5 and 6 is 3. And of course, we get 3, which is 2, which can't move. So that does nothing. All right. So after that phase, we go to... after the incident, we go to the launch phase, which we have to skip because we don't have any standoff weapons ability because of the storm. I'm going to put the backfire back in the pile of standoff weapons because they can't use their standoff weapons either. Then we go to the objective phase, which only takes place if we're at the objective, which we are not. Recovery phase, where we land any air units that we had flown during the launch phase. And then we go to the end of the turn. So we're going to move to turn 2 and continue here. So we're back to the intelligence phase. So we'll do the same thing we did before, and we know we are in the 5-6 range here on the intelligence table. Can never keep track of which which player is which. Okay. Intelligence table. So let's roll our die. Rolled a 4 last time, I think. And we got a 4 this time. All right, a 4 we know is going to give us the IB, which gives us the ability to reveal. So we're going to reveal Battle Group 2 because that's the only one that's not revealed. So we've got a cruiser, a guided missile cruiser. We've got a glitch, which is a fake unit. So that unit does not exist. I'll put that back with the warship pile. Then we've got, oh, look what we have here. We have their carrier. So their carrier is in here. So then we have that. And finally, we have the second glitch counter. So that was good. There were three warship glitches, which is basically like a phantom, false contact. There were 3 warships and 3 standoffs that are glitches. So whenever we draw those randomly, we have the opportunity for them to actually be nothing. That actually works out nicely because now our second battle group only contains 2 ships. So we have 8 total ships. Incidents can give us more, but we only have 2. 2 in battle group 2 rather. All right, so we go to the logistics phase. Again, we're not going to do anything. Movement, we can move up to as many as we want. Now, we do have this box here, which is a choke point. Okay, so the only impact that a choke point has is it stops your movement. So we're just going to move to the choke point and have to stop there. We didn't need to use our maximum speed, so we won't expend the fuel. And we have to draw an extra incident marker. So instead of drawing 3, we have to draw 4 again. So I will pull out 4 new ones here. 1, 2, I got 5. We'll put 1 back. All right, so you can see the reverse just says incident on it. So we have logistical failure. That's going to be fun, I'm sure. We have option. Not sure what that one is. Haven't done that one before. Then we have Soviet recon. And finally, we have quiet seas. Quiet seas. Nice, peaceful cruise, maybe. All right, unlikely. All right, we want our, here, I think this is the best way to do this. All right, so first one we've got is logistical failure. Okay, so we did not move maximum speed, so this isn't going to happen, but if we had, we'd roll a 1d6 for each ship. On a 6, a carrier loses a propulsion point, other ships receive a damage point, other results no effect. So we don't have to do that because we did not move at maximum speed. This way. Then we've got option, possible future scenario variants, otherwise treat as quiet seas. Okay, so that is, we can treat as quiet seas, which means we would have gotten that twice, I guess. Where's quiet seas? Right here, no effect. All right. And finally, Soviet recon. If any, oh, here we go. If any U.S. Navy carrier battle group is currently located in or adjacent to a choke point, which we are, or objective space, then increase the Soviet alert level by 1. Great. So we temporarily put it down to a 4. But now we move on to the launch phase. And this is going to be fun because we are going to launch some stuff here. Since we know what this guy is, the range is 2. Okay, so we can do our standoff here, which is nice, right? So we're going to launch our standoff attacks. And the way this works, we've got our procedure for it right here, is we move the launch standoff units along routes a number of spaces not exceeding their printed range to the target space. The target space can be the same space they were launched from. They must cease movement if they enter a space with any enemy units. All right. And then we go to the tactical routine at 20, rule 20. Okay, so we're going to launch, get rid of this. We're going to launch, we have 5 aircraft on our flight deck. We will launch probably maybe all of them. I don't see why not. They all have the range. And we have an 8, an 8, an 8, an 8, and a 9. So well, let's see what we've got in here. We do have a sub. So we do want to launch our anti-sub aircraft. Then we have 2 F-14s and 2 A-7s, and we have our anti-sub, which I think is the... Which one is that one? That one is the Viking, the S-3 Viking. All right, so we're going to launch all of them. Probably don't need the... well, you know what? We'll launch... The Tomcats don't have any anti-ship ability, right? And the first battle group does not have a carrier, so we may not need to launch the Tomcats. Okay, so the only time we're going to have to worry about Soviet aircraft is when we tangle with Battle Group 2, which is the one, of course, that does have the... they are in the box adjacent, or the space adjacent to the base. They also have some coastal defense units here on their base as well. So we only have to worry about that, the Soviet aircraft, which will go in here. There are 5 of them, and will go in here when we get to that. So I'm not going to launch my Tomcats. I'll keep them. I've also got, I think we have an F-4 over here, and an F-18. I think we have an F-18 and an F-4 in the hangar. So I'm going to launch my anti-sub and my three bombers, or 2 bombers rather. So we're going to launch two aircraft, 2 strike aircraft, and 2 bombers. And we have to... I'm going to put them here temporarily because we have to determine the layout for the combatants here, where they're going to be as far as zones, who has the tactical advantage, and all that stuff. So I'm going to actually reset the camera shot to zoom in more on this area, or this area rather, so we'll see the fighting. So I will do that here in a moment. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is determine contact and tactical edge. So here on this table right here, we have our contact table. So real simple here. You have to roll a die, and you have to apply modifiers, right? So if it's greater than 1, it's going to be the Navy, the U.S. Navy gets tactical edge. Less than 1, the Soviets will get tactical edge. If you get a 1, then there won't be any combat at all because you missed the contact. So we don't have any ships. We're just aircraft. So we're not going to use the CIC leadership. We're going to use the CAG leadership. So the CAG leadership is a 4. It's right up here off shot, but it is a 4. So that gives us a +4, and then we add the EW factor of 1 ship or air unit. So we have to look at our air units, and we have a 2, a 2, and a 3. So that will take the 3. You always take the highest. So that gives us a +7. Then you subtract the Soviet alert level, which in this case is a 4. So that gives us 3. Then you also subtract the EW factor of 1 Soviet ship, and you use the highest again. And their highest has a 2. So we had a +7, then a -4, and a -2 leaves us with a +1. So we roll our die and we add 1 to it. And we didn't really need to do it. We rolled a 6, but we didn't really need to, because it's impossible to get a 0, which with the +1 would give us a 1 for no contact. So it was impossible for the Soviets to get the tactical edge. We got the tactical edge. And so we get the tactical edge, which means they have to deploy first. Their deployment table's right here. So they do not have any standoff weapons here. This is just warships. So we're going to roll, and a 1 to 4 will be inner zone right here, and 5, 6 would be outer zone. So I'm going to take one of my red dice here, and we rolled a 1. So that is inner zone. So we'll put our DDG here in the inner zone. Then we'll roll again. We got a 4. That is also inner zone. So the destroyer is in the inner zone as well. And then the last one's the submarine, and that is a 6. So he would go in the outer zone. All right. So what we're going to do first is we're going to start our aircraft all in the outer zone, because the outer zone can only attack the outer zone and the inner zone can only attack the inner zone. You do outer zone first, so they'll get to attack the submarine, which really only will apply to this guy right here. Actually, these do have attack factors of 1 each. So I can attack all 3 of these will attack the submarine. It's a 1 and a 1, so the chances of them hitting are very low. So, okay, so after you do that, you have the, you can go to outer zone combat. So all units in the outer zone must resolve combat. Unit in each side inner zone do not participate and cannot be affected. So we can't target the 2 destroyers, as I mentioned. So we're going to do the side with, so first is anti-air fire. Okay, so side with the tactical edge conducts all anti-air fire. Now, they don't have an anti-air rating. It's a 0. So they can't do it, and they're not going to do it because there are no air units. So then you do anti-surface fire, same thing, no ships and a submarine. Okay, so now you go to C, which is anti-submarine fire. The side with the tactical edge conducts anti-submarine fire, implementing the results immediately. So the way combat works is very straightforward. So let me grab my dice tower. Okay, and we'll attack with the Viking first. So because he's got, just so we can be clear on what all of this stuff means. So you see the 3 at the top there. The first one's anti-air, the middle one is anti-surface, and the one on the right, the 4 at the top, we're going across the top, at 4 at the top right, that is the anti-submarine rating. Then at the bottom, you have your EW, that's the 3. The 1 is his defense rating, and the 9 is the movement factor. So this is our Viking. You can see the little carrier symbol that indicates it's a carrier-borne aircraft. It has a anti-sub rating of 4. Okay, so we will be using that as the primary thing here for our combat table, right? So our target is a submarine. Okay, but to get a hit, we do have to, this is just what happens when you hit it. And you roll again to see what the hit does. To get a hit, you have to roll on your, let me put this in here. We have to roll the number of dice equal to our combat strength. So in this case, we're going to roll 4 blue dice, and a hit occurs on a 5 or a 6. So it's kind of a bucket of dice approach here. And we got no hits. So that is extremely disappointing, because now the other 2 will roll. I'll roll them together. They both have 1s, and they didn't hit either. Now he can't do anything because he doesn't have any anti-aircraft ability. Okay, so what happens now is everybody moves into the inner zone, and we have inner zone combat. So again, the US will have tactical edge. We're going to attack the submarine again with our Viking. Actually, no, we have to do anti-air first. These guys do have anti-air ability. So since the Americans, no, actually that's wrong. They do get to do their, well, I guess they do get to do it. They do get to do it. Okay, so they get to shoot first. So they have a 2 and a 1. So we'll roll 2 first. And again, 5 and a 6 is a hit. They didn't get a hit there. Then we'll roll for the other one, and he got a 1. So no anti-air hits. Now we do anti-surface attacks. So we'll have our 2 attack aircraft here, the bombers, who both have an attack factor of 4. They will, the first one will attack the guided missile destroyer. So we'll roll that first. And we got 1 hit. So 1 hit there. Now we roll to see what that hit results in using this table right here. We're attacking a surface ship. So a 2 will cause it to withdraw. 3 and 4 will make damage. 5 will be crippled, and 6 will be an explosion. So let's see what we get. We got a 6. A 6 is an explosion, and an explosion, as you would expect, you roll 1d6. If the result of that die is less than or equal to the target's printed defense value, it's considered crippled. If it's greater, a catastrophic explosion has occurred and the ship's eliminated. So the defense rating for that ship is a 2. So if we roll a 1 or a 2, it's crippled. If we roll anything other than that, it's sunk. And we got a 3. So this one has been sunk. So I'm going to move it to the Soviet sunk destroyed box over here. Okay, now the other aircraft here is going to attack this destroyer. And he got 2 hits. I rolled 2 5s, so he got 2 hits. I'm going to roll them both together just to make it easy. And we got a 6 and a 2. So let's handle the 6 first, because we know the 2 is just withdraw. So let's see what happens. He's got the same thing. His defense rating is also a 2. And he also got a 3, so he has also been sunk. Okay, and now we have the anti-submarine phase. And again, we're going to use our Viking and attack the lone submarine that is left. And we got 3 hits. So hopefully this will be enough to destroy him. Let's see what the hits mean here. We got 2 2s, which for a submarine is withdraw, and 2 4s, which are damage. I mean 1 4, which is damage. Sorry. So damage, aircraft missiles and ship units incur damage points, which are represented by placing the designated quantity of damage point markers with that unit. Damage markers are provided in various denominations and can be used as change. If the number equals any unit's defense value, the unit sinks or is shot down and is eliminated. So the submarine has a defense factor of 2, and he got a damage marker. So I'm going to put a damage level 1 on here. So he gets 1 damage, and the other 2 is withdraw. So here we have withdraw. Remove the unit from the tactical display, but only after all other attacks on that unit in that zone, in or out, have been resolved. Soviet units are placed in the pool if undamaged, or into the damaged crippled box if it had been damaged or crippled. The unit that withdraws cannot fire after being removed from the map. So he's going to go into this Soviet ship's damaged crippled box, which you'll see when we go back to the full map. So now our air units here will return to the carrier and have to land. And so recovery, during the U.S. Navy recovery phase, carrier-based air units must return to their own carrier. Returning units may be placed in a flight deck or hangar box on the ship display. If their carrier is sunk, they're eliminated immediately instead. All right, so these are air units, and they will return to the carrier. Our air units have returned to the carrier. We had completed combat, so we went to the objective phase, and we're not in the objective, so we don't have to worry about that. And then we go to the recovery phase, and then the end of turn. So we're about to go to turn 3. Up here are the boxes I was talking about. Our 2 sunken destroyers are here, and our damaged submarine is there. I believe that Battle Group 1 gets removed now because they don't have any effective ships. That one withdrew, and the other 2 were sunk. So Battle Group 1 has been destroyed, essentially. And that opens up a little bit more room for us to get closer to the objective. I apologize. I just noticed I had some sound issues there. But it should be fixed now. And so we will continue on. And so that ends turn 2. So we go to game turn 3. And we start over again with our intelligence phase. So we will again use our Aegis cruiser, which has a 5. So we know we get a total of 6, I believe, from previous attempts. Nothing has changed there. So our intelligence table, we roll again. So let's roll one die here. We get a 5, and a 5 on our intelligence table under the 5-6 is D, which is deception. So we can either reduce the Soviet alert level by 2 or add 1 turn to the. So I'm going to reduce by 2. I'm not going to add a turn. So that will push them down to 2, which is great. So then we go to logistics phase, which we'll skip. We're going to go to the movement phase. So now we've got, we can actually move into the same box with our battle group here, which might not be a bad idea. We know that battle group, because we revealed all the battle groups already, that battle group consists of the carrier and a cruiser. So, knowing that, I'm almost inclined to move 1 space, right, which will let us keep our fuel, although it doesn't matter. We've got plenty of fuel to get us there. But we would move 1 space. So I'm going to move 1 space, and then we're just going to go to the launch phase. Well, we have to do the incident first. So we're going to draw 2 incident chits, and then I'm going to fire cruise missiles at this battle group in the hopes of sinking that carrier before we have to deal with it. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to draw my 2 incident chits. I keep saying chits. All right, so we have 1 and 2. One is contact cruise missile, great. And the other one is Soviet aggressiveness. Okay, so this is going to probably change things up. Incident markers have a tendency to do so. Contact cruise missile. Roll 1d6, draw that number of Soviet standoff units, returning to the pool anything other than missiles. Okay, so we'll roll our d6. 3. I'll draw 3 standoff units. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the first one is a missile. All right, so that's 1 missile. Second one, that's an aircraft, so that will go back. And the third one is also an aircraft. It's the backfire, so that one will also go back. All right, so we will have combat here with the cruise missile. Now, that removes this one. Now we can do Soviet aggressiveness. Okay, raise the Soviet alert level by 1, then choose 1 Soviet battle group at random, roll 1d6, and move that battle group that number of spaces towards the nearest U.S. Navy battle group. All right, so I was afraid that was what we were going to get. All right, and we only moved 1. So that's actually not that bad. So they're going to move here to the choke point. And we're now 2 spaces from each other. So now we have to resolve our cruise missile. So we have to do the tactical again, which would involve moving all our ships in here. So let's roll for the contact again, like we just did on our contact table right here. So we know this time we have ships, so it's going to be the leadership value of our CIC, which is 4, plus the EW factor of 1 U.S. Navy ship. Our best EW value is our Aegis cruiser, so that gives us a total of 9. Then Soviet alert level, which is 3, because it went back up. Right from that chit, it moved back up. Yeah, so it's at 3 right now. So 9 minus 3 is 6. And that's it, because they don't get any EW for the missile. So it's a 6 plus 6, so we are guaranteed to have tactical advantage. Let's roll to see where this missile is going to line up. It's going to line up in the outer zone, which is what I would expect it to. I am going to put Everything in the outer zone. So all of my ships here will go to the outer zone. And all 7 of them. And I'm not going to zoom in this time because this should be a fairly quick combat. And the Nimitz will go there as well. All right, so all 7 of my ships are there. And so now we have tactical advantage, so we can try to shoot this thing down. We have, well, actually, not until we get to the combat phase. That's right. We can still launch, because that's the incident phase. We can do the launch phase. And then do the combat phase. But you know what? I'm not gonna launch any of my standoff. I could launch my aircraft, but I am not going to do that. So we'll just go to the anti-air phase because we've got some decent anti-air here. The Aegis is a 5. So everybody obviously will be shooting at the cruise missile. We'll start with the Aegis with its 5. And let's see if we can knock this guy out of the sky here. So, well, that's a 5. That was a 5 before I picked it up. So we got 3 5s there. So that's 3 hits. So let's see what we get from the hits. Hopefully we knock this missile out of the sky. That's what the Aegis cruiser was all about. 1, 4, and 5. So the 1 I know won't do us anything, but here we go. Hit table. So we are firing at a cruise missile. A 4 is an elimination. We got a 4 and a 5, so those 2 would be eliminated. No effect on a roll of 1. So the cruise missile has been shot down. This is why I did not bother to put it. Let me put this in the sunk destroyed box. I think that counts too for victory point purposes. And that is that for that combat. I'm just going to leave these guys here because, well, actually, no, I'm not, because we're not moving into the box with them. So we'll just put all these guys back. So that is a cruiser. DDG. I got to make sure I line up the missile units with the guys that have missiles here. The submarine had a missile. And then the destroyers did not. Well, one of the destroyers and the frigate. Okay, so now we're all set again. So now we're going to do standoff. Well, we're going to launch our cruise missiles, and I may have put this out of order. Now that I think about it, we could have had a, but we're attacking their battle group, so that battle will take place here. So I should have launched the cruise missiles at the same time I was launching the. I decided to not launch my aircraft rather. So we're going to launch 3. Yeah, we're going to launch 3 cruise missiles at Battle Group 3, which, oh, that isn't the carrier. Okay. So let's see. We've got a submarine. We've got 2 subs and a frigate there. So that changes my thinking here because cruise missiles can't damage a submarine. So we will instead send out our aircraft again. All right, so we're going to launch aircraft, and maybe I'll send 2 cruise missiles as well. So we're going to launch 1 from the Aegis and 1 from this guided missile destroyer. So we're going to send 2 cruise missiles, and we're going to send both of our bombers and our anti-submarine unit as well. I should have brought 2 of those. They drew a lot of subs, relatively speaking. They have, they have 2 subs remaining. Well, they drew 3 submarines, I guess, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 surface ships. All right, so I guess the ratio was relatively reasonable. So those are going here, and I'm going to put the Soviet battle group here. We'll do the same thing where we're checking for tactical edge. So we get this the CAG leadership because these are all air units, standoff units, and so the CAG is a 4, and then we add the, let's see, CAG plus 1 from the air units. The biggest one we have there is a 3, so that gives us a 7. They get the alert level minus, so that's 3, leaves us at 4, and then their best ship is a 2, so that leaves us at 2. So again, no matter what we roll, it can't be a 1 or less than a 1, so we get tactical advantage, so I won't bother to roll the die. And let's just get this going here. So let's roll to see where they deploy. So we'll do the frigate first. He got a 6, so that is outer. And we'll do the submarines. And that's a 5, and a 5 for a warship is outer. And then the other sub is a 4, so that is inner. We have 1 on the in and 2 on the out. All right, so we're going to start we'll start our cruise missiles in the outer zone for sure, because they're both going to attack the ship. And we'll have our aircraft also be outer zone. So the first step is anti-air. So outer zone anti-air. The frigate does have anti-air ability. It's a 2. So I'm going to roll 2 dice, and I'm just going to do it on the board. And we got a 2 and a 1, so that's no hits. Then we go to anti-surface. So this will be our air units attacking the frigate. They're all going to attack, well, the Viking won't. These 2 are attacking the frigate, so we'll do this guy first. They both have a 4. So we're going to roll 4 dice. And we got 3 5s and a 2. So the 3 5s, we got a 6 and 2 1s. So the 1s aren't going to do us any good, but the 6 is a critical hit. And the critical hit means that we have to roll against its defense, which is a 2. And it's going to be either crippled or destroyed. And it is destroyed. So the frigate has also been destroyed. Okay, now we'll do our submarine attack from the Viking, which also gets 4 dice. And we got nothing. Nothing. All right, so now everybody moves into the inner zone. Oh, I didn't do the cruise missiles. Well, they're gone. They're expended, so we'll just put them there. Because the aircraft destroyed the frigate, so it doesn't matter. All right, so now these guys each have 1, so I'm going to roll that one first. So we'll do this guy first. 2 is nothing. Then we'll do this guy. 6. All right, so we know that's a hit. Now let's see what kind of hit we get. It's a 2. 2 on a submarine is a withdraw. Okay, so he's going to withdraw. And hang on, let me put that there for a moment. I need to check the withdraw rule again. So he'll go back to the pool, but only if we don't attack him again. So he's been attacked by these 2 aircraft, so we'll have this aircraft attack the other one. And he just gets returned to the warship pool off board and can be drawn again through an incident chit. So now this guy gets 4 attacks against this sub. Hopefully we can do something with this guy. And we don't. All right, well, that was that. And there are no ships, so he cannot attack anybody. So we are at the end of the battle. So the way we determine the victory here is if either side has lost as sunk or eliminated, not merely crippled, at least half its ships, it's considered to have lost the battle. Aside, so I think this just becomes a draw. The side that has lost the battle must immediately withdraw. Increase or decrease. All right, so I think he just goes back here into his Battle Group 3 box. Our aircraft return. Nobody won that fight. And so we are not in the objective space, so we know that we're just going to recover here. I think I'm supposed to move this down to the ammo track. So that should be, I think, a 6 right now. Or is it because of that's aircraft? I'm going to leave it up here. I think that's only ships, and we haven't had. Oh, actually, we have had a ship combat, but we didn't. Well, the Aegis did, so I'm going to put it at 7. All right. So I'll just leave that at 7 because the Aegis cruiser shot down that cruise missile, so that would be an expenditure of ammunition. We're going to go to turn 4, and we're going to start all over again with intelligence. So we'll have our Aegis try to maybe get us something that will be good for us here. We hope we don't roll anything. So we know we're a 5, and let's roll our dice. Our die, it's a 5. A 5 on there is a D again. So that is deception, which means we can move this back down to 1. That's good because next up is the movement and then incident. So we're just going to move. We're going to move in here, and we're going to have it. We're going to have it out. Okay, we're just going to move in and have it out. So let me pull my 2 incident chits, or 1 incident chit rather, for this level, and it is contact warship. All right, so that means we're probably going to end up with an extra ship to fight here. So contact warship. Roll 1d6 and draw that number of Soviet warship units. All right. 5. Really? This is gonna be a mess. All right. 1, 2, 3. Drawing from various spots in my little pool here. 5. All right. Get rid of this. Now we've got a sub, a destroyer, another sub, and a cruiser. Great. All right. Well, we'll put all these guys over here. And we're going to set up and have ourselves a real fur ball, it looks like, here. With 5 of them. Well, Battle Group 3 only has a sub left, so I guess it's not that bad. It could be worse. I could have rolled a 6, right? So yeah, that's pretty bad. All right, so after that, we go to the launch phase. All right, we're launching 2 cruise missiles. We'll take the 2 from the submarine, I guess, and we'll put them. They're going to end up in the outer zone. Anyway, I'm also going to launch all my aircraft. We can launch up to 6. I'm going to launch everything but the fighters. So we're going to launch this, and our lone anti-submarine aircraft. I really wish I had more. And then these 2 bombers as well, all in the outer zone. And because our warships are here too, we're going to have the Nimitz that will be in the outer zone. Our sub will be we'll put him in the inner zone. What I should be doing here, I'm doing this out of order because I'm assuming I'm going to get the tactical advantage, but I should figure it out. So let's do that. The CIC, because we have ships. They're both the same. They're both 4. So we get a +4. Then we get the +5 for the Aegis cruiser, which makes it 9. And then we subtract the Soviet alert level, which is now only 1. So that makes it an 8. And then the EW factor of one of their ships, they have a 2, 2, 2, 1, 3. So It's what, 9 minus 4. That's a 5. So again, I do have it. So let's roll real quick and place them out. And a 6 for the top guy is outer. Then inner, outer. That is inner. And inner. Oh, and the sub. They do have a sub from Battle Group 3. He is also inner. So they loaded up inner, which is fine. That's going to change my layout here. So I'm going to take my anti-sub aircraft and put that in inner, so he can attack one of these submarines, which means I won't, well, you know what, let's leave him out here. We'll let him be out here and he can attack the submarines, one of these two. Then I will put some ships that have anti-submarine capability in the outer as well. So, because they have one surface ship, both their surface ships are in the inner zone. So we're going to hit those with the aircraft first. So we'll send all of our aircraft except the submarine, anti-sub, the Viking, and our cruise missiles. And that bomber and this bomber will all be inner zone. Then the Nimitz and anti-sub, and we'll put the Aegis cruiser out there and that destroyer. This destroyer will go inner zone to try to take on the submarines, because he's got a 4. And we'll put the frigate in here as well. And these two will go outer zone to attempt to sink the submarines. So that's how we're going to do this here. All right. So this is going to be a big old hairball here. So let me zoom in so we can get a better look at this. We're ready to go. So we'll start outer zone. First thing you do is anti-air. So we do have some anti-air here that we're going to have to deal with. The cruiser has a 3 and the destroyer has a 1. So we're going to roll 3 red. And let me get my dice tower back out because we'll use it for this. They get 1 hit for the cruiser here. Now, because he's doing anti-air, he cannot attack anything else. And he got a 2, and a 2 against an aircraft is no effect. No effect. 2. Okay. So that's a big old relief. Now, I think we may let the destroyer, because it's got a 1, but it's got a 2 against anti-surface and a 2 against anti-sub. So we're going to let the destroyer not fire at the aircraft. Okay, so that moves us to anti-surface, and the U.S. will get to attack first. So we'll have our cruise missile. I'm going to target this cruise missile at the cruiser. So we have 3 here, and let's see what we get. Nothing. Okay, so this cruise missile is expended. Now we'll have the other cruise missile also target the frigate and also miss. Okay. All right. Or I'm sorry, not the frigate, the cruiser. Okay. Well, that was the cruise. I have not had good success with my cruise missiles. All right. So now we'll start going after stuff here. So our first bomber here, which has 4, he's going to attack that cruiser as well. And nothing. Wow. I am whiffing big time. Next one also has 4. You got one hit. All right, one hit. So now we need to roll well on this one hit. And it's a 3, and a 3 is surface ship is damage. So he gets a damage marker. He gets a damage marker. Now we have 2 more aircraft. This guy gets a 2. So that's not great. You got a hit though. So that's also a hit. We're still attacking the cruiser here. And a 4 is more damage, and the cruiser's toughness level is 3. He's at damage level 2 now. 1 more damage will sink him. All right. So next we'll go. We have 1 more here. This guy, he's a 3. So we're going to roll 3 dice. And we get a hit. So as long as we roll something halfway decent, this should take care of that cruiser. And we rolled a 6, so he's dead. All right, he is dead. Damage marker can go back. And that is all of my aircraft, except the only things that have not fired are my 2 surface ships and my submarine and my, oh, what am I doing? I screwed this up completely. I was doing inner zone instead of outer zone. Oh my goodness. I have screwed the pooch here, man. All right, I need to go back. I need to go back. All right, so we're going to take our 2 cruise missiles back here, and I'm just going to put them back. And I'm going to put the 2 Soviet ships back that were sunk. Actually, it was only 1. And we're going to put him here. And so the inner zone's not doing anything. Their outer zone can attack the surface ships, so, but they can't attack the aircraft. So there were no attacks on aircraft, and so we're just starting over here. And I may just edit this out completely, but in case I don't, that's what's going on. I'm just rolling this back. All right, so we're going to start with our outer zone versus outer zone. Now, the U.S. has tactical edge, so they get to go first. So our Viking, which has an attack of 3, or 4 rather, is going to attack the guided missile sub 1. And got 1 hit and 3 4s. So he got 1 hit. Let's see what it does. It's a 6. Okay, so a 6 against the submarine is explosion. We have to check now. The defense for the sub is a 2. So anything other than a 1 or a 2 will result in an explosion, and it's sinking. It sinks. Okay, so this one is gone. It's eliminated. And our aircraft here is done. Now we'll attack the other one with our destroyer here. So he gets 3 dice. And he gets 2 hits on SSGN2. All right. Oh, wait a minute. I think they were supposed to be able to attack first. Oh, I'm struggling right here. All right. So let's roll their attack, because they should have been able to attack the outer zone. So they go for, I believe, there is a, so we have anti-surface. We go carrier first, so he'll attack the Nimitz and get 1 hit. So let's see what this 1 hit is. It's a 4, and a 4 is against the Nimitz is reduced propulsion by 1. So the propulsion goes to that. Okay. Now the other one also gets to attack. And they got no hits. Whew, thank you. All right. They were also attacking the Nimitz. All right, so the Nimitz took a little bit of damage. We reduced our propulsion. Not that bad. Now I'm going to keep the result of the air attack, and this sub is now destroyed, because now we're in the anti-sub, which is the third phase of combat. So I screwed that up, but we're moving on. So we're going to use our DDG here, who has 3, to attack this guy, and fails to do any damage. Now we'll do the frigate here, also a 3. Got 1 hit. Let's see what we get on the 1 hit. It's a 3. A 3 against subs is withdraw. So he's going to withdraw, which means he goes back in the pool. Okay. So that completes outer zone. Now we move to inner zone, which means all of the ships and everything all move in here. I'm actually just going to leave them. They're all the Americans are in the inner zone. There's a lot of stuff there, as you can see. So we're going to start anti-air. So they get to fire at the aircraft, of which there's plenty. So air units. So we'll just start with, well, we have 1, 2, 3. Well, they have the missiles too. Soviet target priorities are missile units first. So they're going to target. So the cruiser will fire. He's firing 3. He's targeting the cruise missile. He gets 1 hit. So if he rolls a 1, 2, or 3, there's no effect. If he rolls a 4, 5, 6, he shoots it down. It's a 4. So he shoots down one of our missiles. Now the other one, the next one is the destroyer. He only gets 1 shot, and he misses. All right. Okay, so now that's anti-air. So now we go to anti-surface, and we get to go first. So we will start with our Aegis cruiser, who gets 4. We'll just go around the horn. He's going to attack the cruiser. He gets 1 hit. And that hit results in a 6, which is a critical hit. Cruiser's defense is a 3. He rolls a 1, so that's just a crippler, not a sinker. So crippled is here, so he goes. That basically pulls him out of the fight. Now next is excuse me, the DDG here. He gets 2. He's going to attack the other sub, not the other sub, the other destroyer. This guy right here. He got a 5. So that's 1 hit. Now let's see what that hit does. It's a 3. A 3 against the surface ship is damage. So we put 1 damage on there. Now we have our, I think I'm going to use the other ones for anti-submarine. So I'm going to actually move these guys up and over so that we know that they're not attacking. So, and it's anti-sub. So he's going to do anti-sub as well. And so will he. And so will he. And so will he. And the rest of them, these guys are all attack. So we'll start with the cruise missile attacking the destroyer here. And nothing. So that cruise missile's gone. Okay, now we'll do the this air unit right here. And he got 1 hit. And it's a 2, and a 2 is withdraw. So he's going to withdraw, but he's damaged. And when you withdraw with damage, you just go in the damaged box. Okay, so now we have our 2 submarines left, along with our crippled ship. So we're going to try to sink this crippled ship here. So we use this guy. Now we'll use this guy. He also gets 4. And he got 2 hits, a 5 and a 6. So let's roll these 2 and see what we get. We got a 6 and a 1. Well, the 6 is an explosion. And if you get that when you're already crippled, you're sunk. So he gets sunk. So he goes into the sunk box. And now we only have our 2 submarines left. So we move, so they get to do their attacks against our surface ships now. So again, they will start at the, with the Nimitz, and they get, this guy gets 3 and gets no hits. And the other sub has 4, whoops, and 2 hits. That's a crusher right there. And a 1 and a 3. So the 1 is nothing, and the 3 is eliminate 1 aircraft in hangar and reduce hangar by 1. So odd will be the 1 and 1, and even will be the 1 and 2. So it's this guy gets eliminated, and hangar gets reduced by 1. Could have been worse. Okay. Now we go anti-sub. So we know everybody's attacking submarines. These 2 have already fired. So this is what we have left, I think. Oh, and this. Wait, no, that's right. We had other ships and stuff. These 2 fired. So let's do the submarine first. He's got 3. He'll attack the first sub. Whew, 3 hits. All right, 3 hits. That's awesome. 3, 4, 5 against a sub. So a sub, 3 is withdraw, 4 is damage, 5 is explosion. So an explosion when you've already. All right, let's roll his defense and see if we blow him up. It's a 2, and his defense is a 3, so that's crippled, but we got 2 crippled, which means he's destroyed. So he's also gone, and that was our sub. Now we have these other ships here. We've got our frigate, who is 3. Actually, let's use our aircraft. Let's use the Viking. 2 hits. All right, and let's see what we get with those hits. A 4 and a 4. 4 and a 4. Those are both damage. 2 damage. That equals his defense, his damage rating there in the middle. The 2 right there at the bottom. So he's also sunk. All right, so that is the end of the battle. We did win that one. And now I'll reset the shot, and yeah, there's probably 1, 2 more turns maybe, but this is getting really long. All right, let's continue. I'm going to pause here and reset everything. Whoops. Okay, so that ends turn 4. We go to turn 5. This is an 8-turn mission. We can do intelligence. I'm actually not going to, because really at this point only bad things could happen. So we're not going to bother with that. And we're just going to continue here. So let's go to movement. And we're going to move here into the same space with the last Soviet battle group, which does have the aircraft carrier. All right, so I'm going to have to prep their aircraft, which go here. But they're all going to end up in the combat anyway, so I won't. Oh, and I had a correction I had to make. Both of the hangar was actually empty during the battle, because both of these aircraft were actually out. And we had aircraft on the deck. The deck wasn't damaged, the hangar was. So we reduced our hangar capacity, but we didn't lose the aircraft, so I put it back. Just so in case you're wondering what happened there, because I screwed that up. All right, so we move to launch, and we're going to send the whole shebang at them. We're going to launch, we can launch 6. So I am going to launch, I think, pretty much everything that I can. So we're going to launch our Tomcat, both of them, actually, plus our Hornet, plus both of our Corsairs, and our S3, our Viking. So the only thing left is the F4, which I can only launch 6 because that's our flight deck capacity. So he's going to have to stay in the hangar, and that is all the aircraft and both cruise missiles are also getting launched. This is let's actually, you know what? I'm not going to launch the cruise missiles because we've got a base to attack here, right here, to help land our Marines, which is our mission, of course. Okay, so we know here now that we've launched. Actually, I didn't draw my incident, so I have to draw an incident marker. I forgot to do that. And we get intel from HQ. Okay. Intel from HQ. And that is same as IB or JE on the intelligence table. So IB is intelligence breakthrough. So we can reveal 2 spaces, and JE is jam enemy, which would let us lower the alert level. It's already as low as it goes. So I'm going to reveal the coastal defense here because I can. So we can take a look at what these guys have. There's 2 of these. Whoops. There's two of these 2 that are better against air. I mean, 2 that are better. One that's better against air. That's this one. And then these 2 are better against, well, this one's best against submarines, and this one's best against surface. And their defense ratings as well. So this is the 3 coastal defense units that are in the objective that will have to be handled there as we land our Marines. But in the meantime, this is done now. In the meantime, we have to deal with our Soviet Battle Group 2. So now we did our official launch and we go to our combat phase. Okay, so let's talk about what the carrier gets, their carrier. Okay, so I also messed up the Soviet aircraft carrier aircraft. They're not supposed to go in the pool with the standoff stuff, which is where I had them. They get 3 of these Yak 38 Forgers and 2 helicopters that are Ka-25s. So they all have the aircraft carrier silhouette on them. You can see it kind of right there, the little black aircraft carrier. And they're supposed to be set up here instead of being in the pool. So I did mess that up. I did finally catch it. But I'm going to have to, obviously, they're going to be in this fight because they are on the carrier. So we will have to go through and determine now as we always do, our contact table, right? So CIC leadership, that is a 4. The EW factor from our Aegis is a 5, so we know we're at 9, which is where we've been before. We take 1 away for the Soviet alert level to make it 8. The factor of 1 ship, air, or coast defense unit. So the best EW belongs to the carrier, and it's a 4. So we have 9, they subtract a total of 5, leaving us with 4. And that, again, I mean, I can roll a die. Becomes an 8, which is still greater than 1. And that is that. So we have tactical advantage again. So let's deploy their stuff. We'll start here with the carrier. It's a warship, obviously. It's a 3. That goes to the inner zone, right? And then we'll go to the cruiser. That is a 4, also inner zone. Now we'll do the aircraft, which go under standoff weapons. So we'll start with the first Yak. That goes to the outer zone. The second Yak goes to the outer zone. Third yak goes to the outer zone. First helicopter, inner zone. And second helicopter, outer zone. Okay. So now we can set up ours. And I'm going to put my aircraft all in. Actually, looking at this, I'm gonna change this up. I'm gonna actually, this is technically not right, but I messed this up because they don't have any submarines. So I don't need my Viking. I'm gonna leave the Viking in the hangar. And I'll bring the F4. And all the aircraft are gonna be out here. So that means that my Tomcats can tangle with these Yaks. The Tomcat and the Hornet, 2 Tomcats and a Hornet. So we have 3 that can take on their 3 fighters, 2 of which I put on here upside down. So that's what we're going to do. All right. And then my ships will all be inner zone. So pause here. Okay, so rather than move the camera, I just zoomed in a little bit over here so you can kind of see everything a little bit better, but I'm not going to worry about moving my camera and everything. I'll just put the dice tower here in the middle. And so we, of course, always start with anti-air first. So we're going to have our air-to-air combat. So I've got 3 fighters, as I mentioned. So we'll have Tomcat 1 attack Yak 1 here. Whoops. 1 hit. All right. 1 hit for our first Tomcat. And that hit is a 1, which is nada. So that was a waste of time. Tomcat 2 will attack Yak 2. That's better. 3 hits. 3 hits. So let's see what we get here. 1 is nothing. A 5 is eliminated, and a 6 is eliminated. So this gets destroyed. Add it to the pile. Next is our Hornet, which only has 4, and he'll attack Yak 3, and he got 3 hits as well. And we got an elimination as well there. So that is, this guy is now gone. Now I do have other things that can shoot stuff down, so we're going to use those as well. I've got my well, all of these guys have air-to-air capability, but we'll use our F4 next. He's got a 3. So he'll take on the Yak, because the helicopter is a lot less threatening. And nothing. All right. Now the last 2 get 1 each. The 2 A7s. So they'll, first one for the Yak. No. Second one also for the Yak. A hit. All right. And a 2, which is no effect. All right. So that is the outer. Now they move in. Everybody in the U.S. is now in as well. Oh, wait, they get to attack first. I forgot that. Well, he's got no air attack value, so he can't attack. But he's got 1 die, and he'll attack the Tomcat, I guess. And he misses. All right. So now he moves in as well, and we go to inner zone combat. So we will start again with anti-air. So Tomcat is going for it again here. All 5 dice. Going after our Yak. And we got 2 hits that time. Hopefully these 2 will roll high. A 4 and a 3. So 4 is damage, 3 is withdraw. All right. So damage, his damage is a 1. So I think damage in this case indicates that unit is shot down. So he's not tough. He gets shot down because damage of 1 is equal to his defense of 1. So if they are equal, he is eliminated. All right, second Tomcat will go after the first helicopter. They also have a defense of 1. And we got no hits. A lot of 4s. All right, and we've got our Hornet. So let me think about this. I mean, I guess we've got plenty of chances to sink their ships. All right, we got a hit. Oh, I rolled too many dice. So I have to roll 4. I rolled 5. I'm going to remove one of these and re-roll. And I got 2 hits. And one of them's a 6, so that's going to eliminate that guy. There are a lot of units in their eliminated box. All right, we're going to leave the last helicopter alone, and we're going to move on to anti-surface. So we've used these 2 and this one. Now that leaves our 2 A7s and our, well, maybe I should use the Phantom against the helicopter. I'm going to use the Phantom against the helicopter because he's only a 2 against the ships anyway. And he got a hit. If this hit is good enough, that'll remove that helicopter, and it's not. All right. Okay, so the Phantom has now been used as well. So all these 4 real fighter capable aircraft have been used. We'll use our A7. He's going to attack the carrier, of course. And he gets 1 hit. And that's no damage. Oh, man. All right, second one is up. He's also going to hit the carrier. He got 2 hits. Great. All right. A 3 and a 6. Well, the 3 is damaged. The 6 is an explosion. So we have to roll for the ship's defense, which I think is a 6? Oh, that's a big number. I need another red. I've only got 5. All right, here we go. What am I doing? Duh. That's not how we do that. We roll 1 die. All right. We roll 1 die, but because it's a 6, he's just going to get crippled because he can't be sunk on 1 single explosion. That kind of makes sense. It's a big ship. But that's bad news for their ship anyway. So now those 2 are done. Now we move on to our ships attacking. So our cruiser here will attack the carrier as well. And he got a 6, so that's 1 hit. And he got another 6, so that will sink the carrier. All right. Now, obviously, the rest of these ships will attempt to sink the cruiser. So the destroyer here gets to roll 2. And he got 2 hits. One of those is a 6. And the cruiser's defense is a 1. So let's see if it's a 1. So the other one was a 2. So he's going to be crippled, which I think prevents him from being able to withdraw, if I remember correctly. So he just gets withdrawn and put into the withdrawn box, which Soviet ships damaged, crippled. So he's going to go over there. And the aircraft, the aircraft is eliminated because the carrier was eliminated. So the helicopter will also be eliminated. And that ends the battle. Obviously, we won that battle. That is their last battle group left. So they have no more surface ships or submarines. All they have left is their base stuff here. Their 3 coastal defense. Okay, so we're going to move on to turn 6 here. And I think we're not going to use the intelligence phase because we don't need to. So for our, I'm going to try to show a repair here, which will skip our movement phase, which is fine because I'm going to launch my cruise missiles and my aircraft at their base. But so we're going to do a repair, okay? So you can see here, if you choose a logistics phase action, you must skip the following ship movement phase. All right, we do not have carrier onboard delivery. I did not purchase that particular aircraft. So you probably remember we lost a hangar and we lost propulsion, right? So let's see if we can repair propulsion. I'm only doing this because I want to show it how it works. So down here we have the repair table. So we roll a number of dice equal to the CIC level of the carrier plus 1 die per crew value on the ship display, which is not true. We don't have any. Plus 1 die if in the same space as a replenishment ship. No. Plus 2 if in a NATO naval base. No. We're going to roll 4 dice because that's our CIC value. And if we get a 6, then we repair one box of damage. So this is real simple. We're going to roll 1 die. Or 4 dice, sorry, 4 dice. Whoops. Well, that's a 4, so I'll count it. And no. Okay. So that's it. That's how you do it. Obviously, that did not work. But that is what it is. All right. So we are now going to launch all of our stuff here, both cruise missiles. And we don't need any. We'll launch our Hornet. We'll launch both A7s and our Phantom. And maybe our S3 too, because it can also attack surface units. So we're attacking these 3 coastal defense units. And I need to check how this works. So give me a second. I'm just going to pause. All right. So coastal defense always appears in the inner zone. So I'm going to deploy all of mine into the. Actually, no, because I'll get 2 attacks if I do it this way. So we're gonna sit out there. So I have my 2 Tomcats. They're the only things not taking action here. All right. So we will start. I'm assuming we have tactical advantage based on the fact that we have a lot more. We have 4 plus 3 is 7. They have 2 plus 1 is 3. That's a plus 4. So we're going to have tactical advantage. So we're going to start. We only have anti-surface, so that's the only thing we're going to do. Although they can do anti-air. But not yet because they're in the inner zone. So we're going to do anti-surface first here. So we get 1 shot at them before we get in there. All right. So we'll start with the Hornet. He's got 3. Now I'm not going to tighten up the shot. We're just going to roll here. Keep it simple. That's a miss. All right. 4 for the A7s. We got 1 hit there. And it's a 3 and a 3. Coastal defense, 3 is damage. So we'll put a damage on the first one here. Now the other A7 will attack that same one. And no hits. All right. And now we'll do our Phantom, who only has 2. And nothing there. Then we'll do our Viking. He got a hit. Oh, that's a 6. And a 6 against coastal defense is elimination. So he's eliminated. That in there. Damage over here. Okay, now what do we have left? We have our 2 cruise missiles. So cruise missile 1 here, cruise missile 2 here. That's what we're doing. And we got 2 hits with the first cruise missile. And 2 6s eliminated. All right, now the second cruise missile will attack this one. And nothing. All right, so it's gone. And everybody moves up. And now they will get to fire first. And they do have a 4. So I guess he would attack the Hornet. That seems to be the most capable. Well, there's 5 there. Let's roll for his target. So we'll go 1 through 5 is the aircraft 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If it's a 6, I'll re-roll. It's a 2. So he's going after one of the A7s. And I'll roll these and no hits. All right. So now the Hornet will go first. He gets 3. Nothing. Now the first A7 gets 1 hit. 1 hit. All right. And it's a 5. And a 5 to coastal defense is eliminated. So that is what I was hoping to achieve. So we would go back, land all our aircraft back on the carrier. Okay, and move to turn 7. And now it's time for the amphibious landing. Okay, so we move. No intelligence. We're just going to go to movement. We're going to move into there. We put our marine unit, I think. And let me check the mission again. Make sure. So here's our mission order. We are amphibious warfare. Move CBG into the Baltic objective and land a marine unit. That's it. I think that's all we need to do. So we did move. I will draw an incident marker just in case we have something we have to deal with here. And I might have forgotten to do that on the last turn. We get Soviet aggressiveness. And Soviet aggressiveness is raise the threat level by 1, and then choose a Soviet battle group. If there are no Soviet battle groups, ignore this marker. So that would just move them up to 2. But I think that's all I need to do. We land. I don't see anything in here about landing. Landing. Oh, amphibious operations. Here we go. During the operation phase, some missions. During the objective phase, some missions will allow you to land a marine. Once placed, it remains and plays no further to land a marine. All Soviet coastal defense units must have been eliminated. We did that. Such an amphibious operation is automatic once in that space with a carrier battle group that is carrying marine or SEAL unit. So we are good to go. We won. All right. So we captured the objective. So that's good. So we succeeded at that mission. And if we were playing a campaign game, that would give us an extra turn on our next one. Our victory points, they're going to be a lot because we sank a lot of aircraft. We sank a lot of ships and knocked down some aircraft and did all kinds of cool stuff. So I won't add it up. It's a lot. It's going to be a lot because you get values based on what you shoot down and sink. And it's in the rule book, and I'm looking for it so I can show it. Oh, no, it's not in the rule book. It's on one of these. That's right. It is right here. So this is the table, right? We didn't lose anything. We didn't lose anybody. And we sank a bunch of stuff. We sank their carrier. That would be 8. There were no battle cruisers. We sank a couple cruisers, I think, at least 2. That would be 5 each. We did sink some destroyers and frigates. We sank plenty of submarines. We sank some of these, the nuclear guys, for 7 each. There's a couple of damaged. There's 2 damaged. What do we have here? We have a sub, a destroyer, and a cruiser. So the cruiser would be worth 3. The destroyer would be worth 1. And the sub is a SSN, so that would be worth 4. We eliminated 3 of these. That's 9. That's it. So we racked up plenty of victory points. Like I said, I don't feel like counting them up because this has been an extremely long video, and I want to wrap it up. If you did watch the whole thing without skipping ahead, kudos to you. It's been a long one, but I did want to show an entire scenario, and I managed to get through it. So thank you for watching. If you have anything to say, comments, questions, etc., you know what to do. Post it in the comment section. I will do my best to reply, but that is going to do it for this. Please consider liking, sharing, and/or subscribing. I always ask, and I'm asking now. But yeah, that's it. We're done. I'm Joe. This is Hexed Encountered, Solitaire Sunday or Solo Sunday. And until next time, and next time will be a new game. Until next time, happy gaming.